all for coming today. Today what we're doing is we're replacing a representative quartz crystal in the reconstructed pier that we've been working on with the masons to build. That is the north corner of one of the slave quarters that we're reconstructing at Montpelier as part of the Southyard slave quarters project. And originally, this is the quartz crystal that we located, and we've had a very close connection with the descendant community through the archaeology and the documentary and the oral history research that we've been doing. And we have three wonderful members of the community here today. We have Frances Pitchford and her daughter Lily Green, and they came out in April to spend a week digging in the ground. Yes. And Rebecca Gilmore Coleman, she is a descendant of George and Polly Gilmore. She has also been out digging with us back in 2001 at the Gilmore cabin. And so we wanted to have Rebecca and Frances and Lily share in this moment and actually place the representative crystal in the north pocket that the masons have arranged for this crystal. Now, the significance of the crystal we actually found, we located this in 2011 as part of the excavations we did to uncover the slave quarters that were in this area. We know about these slave quarters from an 1837 insurance map that showed these buildings being approximately this area. And we did excavations in this area. We found the piers. We found one pier here, another about 16 feet in that direction. And behind where the cameras are, where you all are standing, that's the actual where we found the chimney base. But for this crystal, where we found it is in a unit just to the north behind the ladies here, about 2 feet from here, in amongst a field of brick rubble. And what happened to the structures is these were built probably around 1812. In the late 1840s, these structures were taken down, and the brick and other materials, the buildings were taken away, probably salvaged. The brick piers for the chimney and for the corners of the buildings were taken down below grade. Any usable brick was salvaged. And what we believe happened is this crystal was probably in the original pier and then got lost in the debris field. Now, the reason why we're interpreting this as being intentionally placed, that it was part of this pillar, is this particular crystal. We've been doing archaeology here on the property for the past 30 years. We've opened up some 2,500 5-foot by 5-foot units. This is the largest crystal we've ever found here at Montpelier. These kind of crystals do occur naturally, but they're usually a little tinier than a baby's pinky. This is bigger than any of my fingers right here. So, and what's also very special about this is if this had just been found in a field, it'd probably be hard to interpret it as being anything other than just a natural occurrence. But given that it's adjacent to the north pier of this structure, that's something that other archaeologists in their excavations have found similar objects, quartz crystals, quartz Native American points, white shells that are usually placed and found either in the north pier and in the chimney base or in other parts of the structure. And so just given those two contexts of what we've found, we've been interpreting this as something that was in this pier. So to recognize that, what we're doing is rather than putting the actual quartz crystal in, we're using a representative crystal that is the approximate size and coloration of the one we found archaeologically. And we're going to save the original quartz crystal for use in the museum. And what we'd like to do is do testing on this to see if it actually is a local quartz material. And we can do all sorts of highfalutin testing in this, like XRF, X-ray fluorescence, and other tests. So, but without further ado, what we'll have Frances and Rebecca and Lily do is actually place the crystal in the pocket here. And what the masons have done is they've put this pocket in the northernmost corner of the northernmost pier. And what's neat about this is the magnetic north is in that direction, and we're probably going to try to face it in this direction. So if you all want to place it in there, and maybe raise it up and then put it down so everybody can see.
I'm already doing it.
We didn't choreograph this before. And they're safe? All right. Okay. Well, thank you. And what we're going to do is we're going to return this one for safekeeping back to the archaeology lab. And if anybody wants to see this, we'll have it over at the table. We've got refreshments. But before adjourning to the table, does anybody have any questions about the crystal or questions for the descendants? Rebecca?
Do you know the significance of the northern corner?
That is there's many interpretations of that. There's of course the North Star. It's something that occurs across many different cultures. So some of these traditions, they're neither solely English or African based. It's probably a creolization of many different cultures: Native American, African based, and European. So these traditions are present both among Euro-Americans and Afro-Americans. And I know from doing some of the oral history, there's traditions that during the expedition, like Sherry talked about her grandmother throwing salt in the corner of the room, and so it's something we're going to be looking at. So. Okay, all right, well thank you all. So we have refreshments over here, and also if anyone's interested while you're here, we have a lot of expedition members that are here. If expedition members could raise your hand. They're here for the week doing archaeology. I'll put my hand down now. They're doing archaeology here for the week. And if you have questions, we're going to be going back over to the site in a few minutes, and you can see what we're finding of the smokehouse over there as well. So, but thank you all for coming out today. Really appreciate it.
Okay.
And thank you all for coming out and helping us with this.
I'm delighted. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.